This is what my makeup would look like if I lost everything in my collection and only have £50 to replace it. It actually came to under £50. Keep watching for the final total and let me show you how I did it. So let's start by priming our skin. Now obviously this is somewhat of an unnecessary step. If you do have like a moisturiser or something that you'd rather use, then go for it, but this for only a £5 now. It was a £5 when I bought it and a £5 when I googled it. When I actually was in Boots the other day, their stand had a different sign on it. It did say £4.50, but I bought it at a £5. Google says it was a £5, so we're going to stick with that. This is obviously supposed to be like a dupe for the Bobbi Brown face base. It smells incredible and it just hydrates your skin. In the interest of a completely fair test, I have not prepped my skin at all, so what you see at the end will be just the £50 makeup results. Just going to give the base a spritz with the UGU setting spray. I have put down the mini for this because if I were actually doing it, I would get the mini for £4 even though I have the big one, but for the sake of the video. And then while we wait on that to set, I am going to put some clear brow gel for the brows. So this is just the MUA one and it was £2.25. Now I do obviously have a brow lamination, so my brow hairs are going to be more malleable than they normally would. So maybe take the brow results with a pinch of salt. I'm going to take the darkest shade in this palette and an angle brush and fill in the front of my eyebrows. I do actually think this is going to be a little bit too light for the tint colour that I have on my brows, but it seems to be okay. That's fine, that's as good as we're going to get, and now we're going to carve them out with concealer. Concealer, we have 17 Second Skin Enhancing Concealer, and this is in the shade 001N. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of this. Oh, I actually like the doe foot. It's like flexible. That seems to be relatively creamy, so I'm just going to take a flat brush and then carve out my under eyes. Under eyes? Under my brow. This is one under eye carved out with the concealer. So that's with and that's without. It does a pretty good job, I must say. And I'm just using the P. Louise carving brush. And then just going to pull that product down and pat it on my eyelids so that we have a base of some sort for our eyeshadow, because I actually did manage to pick up an eyeshadow palette as well. Now, eyeshadow is the Desert Bloom one by MUA and it's £3.75. If I didn't say the price for the concealer, it was £2.25. I will leave all the prices in the description as well, if I remember. It is a lot warmer than what I would usually go, but I am hoping that because it isn't as like highly pigmented as other shadows, I'm going to be able to use this little white shade on the end and blend it. I mean, it's not awful. I am then going to go in with the lighter shimmer. I'm just going to pick this up with my finger. Ooh. Oh my god, that is sparkly. And this eyeshadow palette again was less than £4. Wow. Okay, back to the base. I am gonna just take a fluffy brush to blend out the harsh concealer here so that we are giving this foundation the best possible chance. And the foundation that is in Hotspot today is actually a new one for me. And it is the 17 Second Skin Enhancing Foundation. So it's the matching foundation to the concealer that we just used. And I have it in the shade 001. Now, is this going to be the correct shade for me? I have no idea. I'm just going to put a bit of it on the back of my hand. And then I'm just going to take a brush and apply it, and then a sponge and blend it out. So, clean brush. Of course, not taking it right up under our eyes, because we're going to go back in with that concealer that we used to carve out our brows. Has anyone actually tried anything from 17 other than complexion products? Because these are actually alright. Like, for the cost of this foundation, it was $4.50. Now, that was a member's price. I think it was a $5 if you didn't have a Boots card, but I do, obviously. Yeah, honestly, not bad. I wouldn't say great coverage, which is why I hesitated in saying foundation, but it does say foundation on this. It is in like more of a skin tint bottle. It says foundation, so right, I'm going to bounce a damp beauty blender over it, and then I'll zoom you in so that you can see what it actually looks like. I actually don't think that's horrific. For $4.50, like, it's not too bad. I have like bad open pores on and around my nose, but like where there's no noticeable blemishes, the foundation hasn't really stuck to anything, and for $4.50 you literally can't go wrong. So for the concealer, then we're going to go back in with the same one that we used to carve out our brows. And then, how much was this? $2.25. So we're getting all like the cheaper products out of the way, because the most expensive thing, actually, believe it or not, after the primer that I mentioned at the start, is the cream bronzer. And I don't know, I just wasn't expecting that. I honestly thought like maybe blush, because like blush is like the thing at the minute, but no. Cream bronzer, so there you go. It's blending into the foundation really nicely as well, actually. Again, is it the best my makeup has ever looked? Obviously not. But like for what, $4.50 foundation, $2.25 concealer, so for $6.75, my complexion for $6.75 doesn't look horrific, and that's good enough for me. Right back with the cream bronzer, and we have the MUA bronzed cream bronzer in Butterscotch. And now what I have noticed about the concealer is I went like this while I was opening the lid, and it is creased under my eyes. Now, I'm under no illusion, we are human, our skin moves, and so it's going to crease, makeup's going to crease, and that's just skin. However, I put that on a couple of seconds ago, so we'll see how it sets. Just gonna pack some cream bronzer onto this brush. The main thing I'm hoping from this cream bronzer is that it doesn't look muddy and it's not too orange, and this was $4.95. It's actually not bad. I quite like that. This is in the shade Butterscotch, by the way. I don't know if I said that. This I'm going to apply to the back of my hand. This is the MUA Blushed Liquid Cream Blush, and it is in the shade Misty Rose. Misty Rose sounds like a really, like, country girl's name. Right, I'm just going to take this on the back of the beauty blend that I've been using. Okay, so not as pigmented as I thought it was going to be. That is now the second pump. And it's okay, but I like to be blushed, like blushed. So unless the only other thing that I can think of is like it's so thin that it's absorbing into the blender. It does seem to be leaving behind a nice glow, but that could also be the setting spray. So this cream product on, I'm going to give it a spritz and then we're going to set it with powder. This powder was £2.70. It is the 17 finishing powder in the shade 010. So I'm just going to pack it on my Trigwell powder puff, pat the excess off, and then I have soaked my face so you can see the effect of the powder. I was almost sure I got this in like the transparent or translucent colour, but that to me looks like it's leaving. Oh, okay. Did I put too much on? Maybe I put too much on. We're going with a lot less this time. Okay, this side doesn't look tragic. This side, can you see the way that's caked up the whole way around my nose? Please save me, Studio London Superdrug. What even is it? Soft Serve. It smells like my old makeup room. Yeah, I've clearly just packed way too much of that on. But that looks, at least it's salvageable. Right, we're going to take a powder brush and then lightly dust it around the rest of my face. Emphasis on the lightly. I might gift this to my sister, which is actually a shame because the 217 complexion products that we've used so far have been really good. So let's hope that MUA can save this base. For powder bronzer we have MUA Bronzed. It was £3.50 and it is in the shade Solar 100. So I'm just going to very lightly go into this first. I don't know what it's going to be like. Oh, I actually think I quite like that. It is not orange toned at all. So it looks like this. Yeah. Bronzer on. And I actually think it looks really good. Okay, MUA has brought their A game with these powders, and we're going to follow it up with the MUA blush, the powder matte blush in the shade Misty Rose. So it's like the corresponding shade to our liquid blusher here. You can kind of see like the corally tone. So we're going to go quite heavy handed because if it's anything like the cream, it didn't really have the payoff that I wanted. Yeah, it's definitely like a more buildable formula. You have to like, whereas like a lot of the other ones I have, you literally go and like your whole face is pink. So, but you know what, I actually quite like that colour. It's like a very summery colour. The lighting in this window behind me is fluctuating like crazy. Anyone in Belfast at the minute, you know. So I do apologise. The glitter on this eye, like that eyeshadow palette was £3.75. Can we take a minute? Okay, MUA, you know what? I actually might have to do a full face after this because wow is the only thing I can say. But this might be where it all changes. We have the MUA Volume High Impact Magnifying Mascara. This was £2.50, and if I didn't say it, the blush was £3. Again, all prices will hopefully, if I remember, be listed in the description. And before I put this on, I'm going to show you me spraying my face down with the Soft Serve UGU Studio Blended My Superdrug Sem Mist. That is a mouthful, and we're imagining in our heads that I have the mini of this, and it was £4. Side note, I went to see Six Musical again and it was incredible. It just leaves you the most stunning glow. Right, we haven't included eyelash curlers in the budget, so I'm just going to straight in with the mascara. And this mascara again is £2.50. So that's with, that's without, and that's one coat. And that's just done. Guys, what do we think? This is a full face of makeup for under £50. The grand total was £47 and 15p, and you know what? For that price, I don't think it's too bad, honestly. Yes, I've seen better, but I've definitely seen worse. What's your opinions? Let me know in the comments.